Well, their hit Walk the Fire was number 17 on Foundations last week, and I cannot wait to see where they're going to be this week on Foundations. Time to learn about the band Grin Cynic. How are you guys?
Hello.
Terrific. How you doing?
I am doing well. It's great to have you here, man.
Thanks for having me.
It's awesome. Now let's get into, first of all, I want to find out kind of the origin story. When did Grin Cynic actually start?
Mike.
Me? Oh, okay. Yeah. So actually, Grin Cynic started back in the late 90s. We started as a band that was just recently signed. We were kids. We put out a CD. We did a couple of tours back in the day, and then unfortunately, like a lot of bands out there, you kind of go your separate ways. And then my singer and I, not Brendan, the previous singer in the band, we did some stuff together. We played some shows together in separate bands over the years in the early 2000s. And then about 3-4 years ago, he actually, the previous singer, he had a stroke, really bad one actually.
Okay.
And he wanted me to keep the name alive, keep the band alive, and keep some of the songs alive, maybe redo some of the songs that never made it to to the album or to the stage. So kind of in his honor, I did. And we've been going on about 3 years now with a new lineup. Went out there and recruited these boys and really talented musicians. We took a lot of the songs that we previously did in the first iteration of Grin Cynic and kind of updated them, made them more modern, and, threw a producer in the mix and, some other writers with me, along with Greg and Brendan and Rafi and Sean. And here we are today. We're, it's kind of odd for me because it's like finding a bunch of lost brothers that, share the same, styles, lifestyle, background. We're all,
oh, that's kind of cool. So
yeah.
y'all kind of really gel
big time. That's really what was my hardest thing to find was people that I gel with. The three of us we're from the same neighborhood. Just
from the same neighborhood.
Yeah, well, we're all from up north. We all grew up the same way. We can make references about certain things that only like we would know about.
And you guys know.
And we get it. We all get it. So it works out really, really well. And also from songwriting perspective and our musical styles and our taste, they're just so similar and it's effortless. And it's at the end of the day, man, it's just fucking fun.
So first of all, you pulled out the big word fun, because if your job is not fun, okay, you're not going to do well at it because you're not going to want to be there. And so you guys are together, you're having all this fun, everything is gelling, everything is clicking and going along great. And how does that feel? I mean, to know that you did start, this is the second iteration of Grin Cynic. And how does that feel to know that you're not only keeping your old fan base, but you're gaining a whole new fan base?
Yeah, it feels great because we're getting a lot of good feedback from the fans. They like it. Not only the music, but our show that we put on, our live show. And the new fans are, they're all age groups. They're into a lot of different styles of music, and our style of music, I can't really, put like a genre pinpoint. I don't want to classify us as heavy metal because we're not just rock pop. It's really just taking all of our influences and, putting it in a blender and just stirring it all up. And then you throw up Grin Cynic, I guess, out of that.
So I guess where I want to go with this is let's look at the new fans that are moving Grin Cynic's way. Now, with you new guys in the band, now you're seeing this. How does it appear as far as you have the new fans and the old fans coming to shows. Are you getting the same positive responses from both?
They seem to like us.
Yeah.
They at least tell you you don't suck. Is that what you're saying?
I think Brendan, he's the socialite in the band. So when we're done with shows, he's all over and engaging. So
Well, with a pretty face like that, and
right,
dude, you got that hair flowing, you got that kind of Fabio thing going on, man.
Now you're speaking my language, Shep. You're really appealing to my ego. It's just me though, Greg sitting next there to Mike, he's very social as well. But I would say it's been a common theme that when we get off stage, no matter where we're playing, we walk out into the crowd to try to mingle, and network and say hello to people. And the feedback has been better than I've ever had feedback before in any band I've ever played. People are stopping us and saying, I came in here to see the headliner and you guys just blew me away. Or sometimes when we're on a bill where we're the first band and there's a second band before the headliner, a lot of people are saying, you know what? You guys shouldn't have played first. You should have been the direct opener. Can you guys go back on stage? A lot of great.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been really great to hear. And it doesn't seem to be older, younger, all different shapes, sizes. People seem to like it. So not only are we having a blast, but when you get that kind of feedback that you're making people happy, you're entertaining people, it feels great,
It all works out really, really. What were you going to say, Greg? You started to talk.
The connection is there. The connection is real to the people that come see us. You can feel it. It's
the people that, and now, Brendan, you were saying that you've actually had people like ask you and actually make the point that you should have been the headliner. Can you go back out? How? First of all, do you do that? Is that something that's acceptable to? I don't know if it would be. Do you feel that be stealing the spotlight from the headliner, or do you just say, fuck it, I'm going to do it anyway?
Well, no, we have no say in that. I mean, if it's a show that's, this is the bill, this is the bill. We don't call it. That's not our show that we put together. But, where we're working is, this iteration of the band with me and Greg being in it is just about a year old.
Okay.
So, we're kind of really still finding our pace, still working on our live show. We rehearse as a band very often. And I feel like that's really important to just gel as a band. And it takes a while for that kind of to mature. And I really feel like we're just starting to hit our stride right now and just work like a well-oiled machine and really hone our live show and everything going smoothly. And what we're working on is, we want to go out and do our own shows and tour and headline. We're doing some tours this year. A lot of it will be supportive of other acts, but ultimately we would love to headline.
You'll get there, man. It just takes time. That's it. Absolutely. You got the chops. So
even though we're sort of veterans, we are basically a new band in this iteration of it. So that kind of makes it exciting too.
Yep. Agreed.
The goal really is to, do what typically takes artists, 5 or 8 or 10 years, do that in a couple of years by really working hard, really working with the right people to get the right music and produce the right music. And, especially connecting, with the fans, because that's what it's all about, and give them something that they really want to hear and listen to and that they can connect with, and be social and not be that band that's after the show just disappears. We're out there.
We are out there.
Yeah, we're out there hanging out, selling merch,
drinking,
yeah, having pizza.
There you go. That's the biggest drawback from all this COVID crap is things like Zoom, Google Meet, stuff like that is okay. That's a good placebo that works okay for a while, but like, I want to hang out with you guys. I would much rather be doing like a pre-show interview, getting ready to watch you guys on stage, and then party with you afterwards, and actually like become friends rather than sitting here talking to each other on video chat.
You can feel a resurgence.
to, after the shows, walk around and meet people and, taking the time to shake people's hand, thank them for coming and, where are you coming from? What's your story? And, then we come and play the same venue a couple months later. Those people come back and you remember them, it's like we're making friends, so.
It's
Give
like,
them hug.
what'd you say, Greg?
Give them hug. We like give hug.
Yeah. Real touchy-feely guys hugging all the men in the crowd.
The hugs are good. It's I freaked out at a few different bands because like it does, man. Like Brendan, like you were saying, you go and see these people over and over and you start recognizing people and that stuff. It's like, hell, I'll go to festivals and stuff that I've been going to for like 5 or 6 years and keep seeing these people. And yeah, it is. I mean, to the point where it's like, hey, it's good to see you. I just go up and I automatically hug them. And it's cool with like 90%, but every once in a while, there's somebody that's kind of like,
Yeah, perfect example.
If we run into you at a show, you give me a hug. I'm all for it. I'm all into it.
Okay, all right. There, you got that hair going on, man. So there might be a little grindage. I apologize.
So I was at a show last week or 2 weeks ago at a venue over in Fort Myers that we've been playing a lot, opening up for some nationals. And I went and saw Jeff Tate and his band. They played the whole Empire album and Rage for Order. And I'm a huge Queensryche fan. So
oh, you are.
So
I get it.
So I went there as as a fan, just going there and hanging out. And it's a venue that we've all played a bunch of times, and we're starting to establish a nice following in that area. So I'm walking through the crowd and just hanging out, and I'm getting recognized. I'm like, wow, this is pretty interesting. So like one guy comes up to me, he goes, "Wait, you're Mike, right?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "From Grin Cynic?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Oh, I saw you guys when you opened up for whatever here. Where's Brendan?"
Oh, that's.
I was like, I don't know. He's probably home or something. Cool, man. Well, tell him that I said hi and, connect with me on Facebook and this, that, and the other thing. And, yeah, Brendan. I'm like, all right, cool, man. Yeah, rock and roll.
Hopefully that it's working. I left a good impression on the guy.
Left a really good impression. So and that wasn't actually the first time. That was a couple of times that happened. Yeah, you're with Grin Cynic, right? Yeah. Where's Brendan?
I love it.
So at your live shows, okay, that's before and after, basically hanging out, blah blah blah. What are people going to see on stage? What is Grin Cynic about when you're on stage?
From my end, it's a bit of aggression.
Oh, aggression is that therapy for you?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. He has a lot of pent up emotion, and when Greg gets on stage, it's almost like his alter ego clicks in. As a matter of fact, he literally has an alter ego. He plays as a Yugoslavian yak farmer named Ogden, and he pretends that's his different. Literally, I'm not making this stuff up.
Tell people these things now.
And when he gets on stage, it's like a switch flips, and I look over at him sometimes during the show. I'm like, man, what is he doing?
Did you just do that?
Yeah. But he puts on a great show, and kind of to summarize what your question is, I think the one word that would sum it up, Shep, is energy. We try to make it that from the second we get on stage until the second we get off, we're just giving it like an intense energy the entire time. I'm trying to perform like as if I was seeing another band. How would I want to be entertained? And I keep that in mind. So I think we try to keep it fun. We make jokes on stage. I interact with the crowd a lot, but overall it's just energy, and we are having fun. So I think that comes through and projects to the crowd. I think they pick up on that vibe, and then they give us energy back, and then it just it builds.
It just
sometimes we hit each other.
Snowballs is a good word.
Okay. And sometimes you what, Greg?
We kick each other. It's all in good fun, but the crowd gets nervous sometimes.
Yeah, mostly Greg and our other guitar player, Sean, they do this little Tai Chi karate maneuvers the whole show. And I watch back on the video later. I don't see it while it's happening, but I watch the videos back now. What are these guys doing? They're kung fu fighting.
Yeah.
So, do you go the whole David Lee Roth route and like pull out swords and shit?
I'm Michael Anthony. That's his role.
Until I saw David Lee Roth chop off his nose, and then I said, you know what? I'm not taking a chance with that. I don't want to chop off this beautiful piece of nose, you know?
Yep. The whole thing going on there. What are you looking for, a modeling career, Brendan? Is that what it is?
Well, my modeling career has stalled a little bit. So if you have some connections, you tell them to call me and we'll work something out.
Yeah, I have connections. Okay, that's how it works.
His
Okay.
bandmates beat his ego down.
Hey, Mike, how have you seen the music industry change since the first iteration of Grin Cynic and now getting back into like the whole machine?
That's a good question. So when I first started the band in the late 90s, we were a little bit ahead of our time, I believe. People really didn't understand or get the music that much. We did a lot of drop tuning type of arrangements. The arrangements themselves were a little bit different from your standard cookie cutter hits. I was always a B-side type of writer where I like to just write what I feel.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong, we have people we work with to kind of shift that to make it radio friendly and make it more into a hit, for lack of better words. But from what I've seen, and what we're trying to do, especially what I'm trying to do, and it's like pulling on a rope here, is I don't want to be that typical band that has if you turn the radio on and you hear a band out there, it sounds like everything else out there, and we're trying to avoid that. We're implementing a lot of different things in our music, as you heard with Walk the Fire. It's radio friendly, but it has a lot of harmonies in it.
Yep.
Brendan and I do a lot of singing together. And Greg too. But see, Greg has the luxury of running around stage with Sean and doing all these crazy things. And I try to do that, but I always get like dirty looks on stage sometimes from Brendan because I'm not back to my microphone in time. Right.
Okay.
So to sing. So sometimes I'll miss a harmony here or there and he'll just kick me. But
or push him to the microphone. I've done that before.
Just shove him.
He pushed me, like he knew I was going to forget or not forget, but he knew I wasn't going to be on time for an important part. So he actually like pushed me to my microphone on stage once. So the difference is just really honing in on the style of music, implementing a lot of different strategies from more. We do 3-part harmonies. You really don't hear that live from a hard rock / metal band.
Exactly.
And if you do hear it and it sounds perfect, it's tracked. Which we don't use any tracks live.
Okay.
What you hear is all natural. It's coming from us. And that's why, to Brendan's point earlier, we rehearse a lot because the songs, they're not easy songs to play and sing at the same time, and the three of us were doing 3-part harmonies through a lot of the songs, and that's really what makes this iteration of Grin Cynic a lot different from the first one, where I was just doing basic octave harmonies. This version, we're playing a lot of intricate type of guitar work, Sean and I. And on the back end of that, on the top end of that, is some really good melodies with some harmonies that the three of us have to, be on spot with, because they're live and they're not tracks and they're not tuned. They don't have any auto tuners or all these big effects going on.
You guys don't use auto tune?
Yeah. So, and being old school, man, I like going to concerts, and I love hearing bands screw up on stage because it's real, man.
That's exactly.
I like hearing something that's a little bit off on time, or off time or something, because it's real, it's live, it's raw, And, no one's perfect. If I wanted to hear something perfect, I just go pop the CD in the CD player in the house and just sit there.
Dude, you're like reading my mind. I was just gonna say something about that. It's like when I hear bands that are perfect in concert, I really, really get like, first of all, super critical. But then if it keeps going perfectly, then I start wondering what the hell is going on. How much are they sequencing this? How much, how many tracks they have? How many computers are underneath the stage? What's going on?
Exactly. Don't get me wrong. We want to put on a good show and we want to sound good. And we that's the reason we rehearse a lot, is to make sure that these harmonies that we're doing, they're spot on, but they're never going to be perfect. We're human beings, right? So, and we want to, especially myself, I love jumping around stage. We're all wireless and everything else. And, to what I said earlier, there's sometimes where I won't make it back to the microphone in time. And if I do, I might be out of breath. And, that one part that might not be 100% spot on, but it's the energy that they're feeding off of.
That's like, that's what I like to see when I go to shows. I like to see, first of all, the band having fun on stage. And if there isn't a ton of energy on stage, well, they're not going to change anything that they do. And I don't want to hear the band play the same stuff over and over the exact same way every time. So I don't know. I think you guys are totally on track. It's like, for what it's worth.
Yeah,
I'm anxious to see a Grin Cynic show. I don't know when you guys are coming this way, but hell, you get within like 4 states, I'm going to one of your shows.
I'm going to hold you to that. It's probably going to be soon this year, so I'm going to hold you to that.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll be hanging out. We'll be drinking together pretty soon, Brendan. We will. One thing, I guess I wanted to find out from you guys now. Okay. Mike, you said that Grin Cynic started in the 90s. And then also, few weeks ago, I talked to a band that they were an 80s band, and I actually started in radio in the 80s, and I remembered there's one of their when CDs first came out. I remembered one of their CDs on my PD's desk. It was like one of the tunes that was in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. And anyway, what do you think is happening with all these bands that were in those other decades coming out now with like new iterations of the band? Maybe they have like 1 or 2 members that are original, but they've got new blood in the band. What do you think that's all about?
Yeah, I think actually it's a couple different things, and we've been playing with a lot of those bands.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I think part of it is, hey, they just following their passion. It's something that they really enjoy doing. Other things, they probably need the money, and
that always helps.
Yeah. But yeah, I've noticed too, a lot of bands are coming out. Like, we just played a show not too long ago with a band. Remember the band Vixen? A bunch of girls.
Oh yeah. Hell, two of the band members in Vixen actually made me think about marriage back in like '88. But anyway, go on.
Yeah. So, in fact, the bass player lives like 15 minutes from where I live, and we're pretty good friends. But they went back out with a new singer and a new guitar player. I believe the founding guitar player, she died of cancer about 9 years ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, they've been out and they've been playing everywhere, and they've been on the same bill as, they've been doing like the Monsters of Rock cruise. They've been playing with Kiss, with a lot of the 80s bands. They've been doing like a lot of stuff with Night Ranger, Kicks, and a couple of other of those guys. Okay. And I talked to the bass player and I said, so tell me, why are you doing this? And it's just for the passion, it's the fun, and they're having a great time. But now, like, even Vixen, there's one original band member left in that touring band right now, and it's the drummer, Roxy.
Really? Oh, okay. I thought well, it doesn't matter what I thought, but
But they still, they sound good, and they're playing all their hits. And there's people out there that are from that era that just want to see them. We're playing a bunch of shows with Jackal. Remember them?
Oh yeah.
Striper.
Yeah, Striper. So we had an opportunity to play a show with Striper. Got a call from our booking agent. They asked us if we wanted to do it. I'm like, because I remember Striper.
Yeah.
Everyone else remembers Striper, right? So I'm like, all right, let me YouTube and see what they're doing these days, just to make sure we're a good fit. And they were like totally rocking out, no makeup, none of the.
Oh, they don't do any of the old. Well, okay, all right.
Yeah,
They're
so
just a normal band now.
Yeah, they're like, they have a big crowd. Like, I YouTubed them at some big venue. They packed the house and they sounded really good, and totally different from 1985.
You know what they say though, sometimes new band members can breathe new life into a band.
Exactly. Then, and which was the point of my question, with saying that, like, these guys, they have like one or two original members, and then they put new blood back into the band, and then they go back out. And there's that old and new fan base. They have those old fans, but they're connecting with the new fan base. And I don't know, I think it's really cool myself. And I just wondered if you maybe had some thoughts about it adding a little bit to the what's in rock right now, because like you were saying that like you guys, Grin Cynic, 3-part harmony. Okay, you don't get a lot of actual like harmony stuff or like difficult difficult arrangements or anything out of a lot of younger bands that come out. And they come out, they have like 2 or 3 radio hits, as I have a seizure. They have like 2 or 3 radio hits. And then that's all you hear from them. And because I don't think they're adding as much to the music as like has been done in the past. And with the way that the old and new is coming together, do you think that it's gonna show the new fans like the rock is gonna go in a certain direction, and it's also gonna show those new bands how to arrange their tunes and how to write?
Brendan, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's certainly possible. While you're talking about this, and you're talking about, new and old fans. So after we released Walk the Fire, and we have another song that's going to be released fairly soon that's mastered, the next track,
Okay.
I've let some of my circle of friends hear it, before it's released, obviously. And what I'm getting back is a lot of good feedback that, hey, I played your song in the car. And my 14-year-old son or daughter was like, who's that? Play that song again. And I've heard that over and over and over again from a bunch of my friends who now have kids between, like 9 and 14 years old. And the kids seem to love it. So, you got the parents are our age, they love it, and the kids love it. So it kind of gave me hope, like, maybe kids today can still appreciate, take somebody who takes the time to do more intricate songwriting than what's being mass produced.
And also what's important is groovy, sexy, slinky, funky, heavy bass lines. I think that really adds to it.
That adds to it.
It's mostly attributed to Greg's harmony that he's singing and his bass line, of course. But, and also going back to saying some of these older bands that are having resurgences, I wasn't a huge Kicks fan when I was younger, but I remembered some of their hits and their songs. And, that guy's kind of got like a high, shrill voice. And when you have a voice like that, you sing mostly in a higher register as a singer. I like to see singers that as they get older, they can still pull off what they recorded 30 years ago. And when we opened up for Kicks and I watched them play, I tell you, I was impressed. That guy sounded like his CDs from 30 years ago. So when I see that, and I see all the people packing the house to see that, it's like, it gives me a warm, fuzzy feeling. It's like that somebody can persist for that long and still be able to make money and have fun doing that many years after they've recorded the song. You know what I mean?
Brendan, as a singer, I've talked to a couple people that had been in it a long time, and actually, as they aged, had to relearn how to sing. Have you heard of that before?
I've somewhat experienced that myself.
Oh,
I wouldn't say relearn, but I've definitely had times in my life where I've gone on a hiatus. You know, I don't sing for a year or two, maybe, you know,
okay.
maybe in the car here and there, but you kind of just, I'm going to take a break. And when I started singing with these guys, and it's, you know, 2 and now 3 nights a week rehearsal, 4 hours at a clip, my voice was getting tired. The first couple of shows we did, I didn't have the stamina I used to. And I kind of had to relearn and kind of revisit the basics when I started in the beginning and kind of say, well, wait, I'm not warming up like I used to. I'm not doing the same exercises I used to. And I actually went back out and pulled out a book that I had bought when I was a teenager that taught me the most I learned about singing, and reread it and said, oh, I forgot about this. I forgot about that. So I would say
Okay.
I kind of had to relearn myself.
Okay, maybe that's what they were talking about as far as relearn. I thought they were talking about, because I remember who was it I talked to? Oh God, old 80s band. Tom Kiefer.
Yeah.
He went through the throat surgery stuff, the throat problems, and he had to actually relearn how to use his vocal cords.
Well, what happened with Tom Kiefer? That was a very unique thing. He actually got a virus. His doctors believed it was a virus. And what happened was it paralyzed one of his vocal cords.
Okay.
So when you sing, you need the vocal cords to meet like this together. And one of his vocal cords was paralyzed. So what happened was he lost a lot of his range. He lost a lot of that signature Tom Kiefer sound. And most importantly, he would go hoarse very quickly, and it would take him a long time to recover.
Okay.
So he had to relearn how to sing differently because one of his vocal cords is not operating as it used to. So he had to modify his technique so he could pull off what he used to. That's what happened to Tom Kiefer.
That's what it was. Okay. All right. Well, Walk the Fire, like I said, was number 17 on Foundations last week. I'm anxious to see where it's going to be this week. And I am going to be playing that song in a while here. It's probably going to be about 45 minutes is what I'm guessing. But what I want to know from you guys is what's another song I can play out of our chat of yours? I'm not going to be busting out any Pink Floyd or anything. A song of yours that I can play out of our chat that you think reflects Grin Cynic really, really well.
That's a tough question because, like Mike said before, we've kind of discussed this amongst ourselves. Like, what is our sound? What is our genre? And even Walk the Fire is kind of a new style for us. So some of the older stuff that Mike had written before Greg and I were in the band, and some of the new stuff we're working on now is kind of different. It's
okay,
kind of like a hodgepodge of a lot of different stuff. I couldn't answer that.
Somebody pick something. Somebody pick something.
Somebody just pick something, say a name, tell them anything.
I'm thinking Alice in Chains.
I said a Grin Cynic song.
Oh, a Grin Cynic song. I thought you said a song. All for nothing.
You misunderstood the question then. A Grin Cynic song that what? Sums up our sound?
All for nothing.
Yeah, maybe All for Nothing.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's a good song.
All for Nothing? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's my favorite to play live.
That's your favorite to play live? Well,
crazy on the stage.
I get crazy.
It brings out the accents.
I want Jack Burger.
Love it, guys. Grin Cynic
is actually Joke. I think
Joke.
The chorus and
maybe Joke.
And the overall feel of that song, I think that kind of sums up the band. Now the Joke is a little older, and then All for Nothing's a little newer, but they both really, I think, kind of characterize who we are as a band.
Yeah, so
Okay.
Joke, just to give you 2-second background on that.
Yeah.
The guitar riffs are from the old 90s. A lot of the guitar riffs are from the old 90s Grin Cynic, and the melodies and harmonies are from the new. So you get a taste of the old. And
the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then
So
you can kind of hear from a guitar perspective, a musical perspective, that song Joke, which was first written, I think I wrote the guitar riff in 1995. A little bit, kind of ahead of 1995. You really didn't hear stuff like that in drop tuning and drop B. And then what we did was we updated all of the melodies on it. So it's funny because I play the guys the first version of Joke, and you hear the music. The music's kind of the same, different arrangement, but the melody is totally different, and it's a pretty cool tune. I dig it.
Okay. All right. Well, then that's what I will do. You will hear Joke here in just a minute. I do want to let everyone know grincynic.com is your website. Yep. You can go there. You got all the info about Grin Cynic for the most part. And hell, you guys are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You have a YouTube channel also. What do you put up on your channel?
So we're still in the process of uploading some videos. We have some live stuff up there. We have some lyric videos, some older videos. We're going to be doing some, stuff like this, just some crazy off the wall, fun stuff that we like to do. Just record. What I like to see, I like the raw, like we talked about earlier, the raw footage, right? We played a joke on our guitar player, other guitar player, Sean. He was having a little bit of
temper tantrum.
A little bit of a temper tantrum with his new in-ear monitor system. So, Greg said to him, he was having, it was the funniest thing ever.
You need a juice box and a nap.
Yeah, he goes, time for a juice box and a nap. So before the next rehearsal, I had my kids make Sean a little lunch box with all like little kid snacks like goldfish and gummy worms and a juice box and all this stuff, and we filmed it and we gave it to him, and it made for like a nice fun little skit. So we're gonna edit that up and post that. It's funny.
Awesome, man. I love it. Yeah, no, I do. I'm a complete I'm a music sharer on steroids. I just happen to like pay the thousands of dollars a year to actually play your music. And I love to see the behind the scenes stuff from the bands. I love to know things like your guitar player who's throws a temper tantrum. Yeah. And I like to hear the weird shit. The stuff that, the people that talk about how they're awkward before they go on stage. And once they're on stage, their alter ego comes out. Yeah. And that's the stuff that I think is cool as hell and that I like to listen to. Like I was telling you before we start recording, it's like I like this stuff more conversational because that's what I like to listen to. I don't want to hear a guy going, so tell me about your new album, and then letting you guys talk for like 5-7 minutes until you shut up, and then go into question 2. And not reacting to what you're saying, not listening to what you're saying. There's nothing personal about the interview whatsoever. And I'm like, okay, well, this is boring. Next.
Yeah. Well, you'll notice that we're very personable type of people. If you ever come to one of our shows, and we just like to hang out and we're just like everyone else, man, but we'll go up there, we'll put on a good show for you guys and entertain and give you your money's worth, and hopefully you'll walk away from the show that night with be like, that band was pretty cool, and that the music was good, but I loved hanging out with them. They spent time with me and, had a beer and whatever. And because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. It's about having fun.
That's one thing. The spending time with the people that your shows and stuff. In like previous years, it was really weird. Like when I was in high school and stuff, it was really weird because past like meet and greets that were given away by radio stations, you really didn't get to meet the bands or anything. They came in, they did the show, bang, they were on their bus, like getting high, getting drunk, whatever, they were gone. And it kind of seems now that bands are more open to like spending time with the people that are actually buying their merch, like paying for stuff. It's kind of weird. Does it sound like I'm off base? Was that stuff actually going on? I was just in the middle of nowhere at that time.
I think you're right, Shep. You know, a lot of my childhood heroes, local bands even, you go to see them at the show and, you know, very arrogant sometimes, you know, oh, we're rock stars.
Yeah.
We're good to talk to you. So a lot of times I would go to shows and try to talk to people and they'd blow you off like, hey, I don't have time for you. You know, you're beneath me. And I remember that from when I was a kid. I don't ever want to come off like that to somebody in the crowd. You know what I mean? Look, we all know a lot of musicians, they have big egos, right? And some of them are cocky and arrogant, selfish, whatever. No, I'm very friendly. So I make it a point to show people, hey, look, I'm not like that at all. I'm approachable. I want to hang out and laugh with you. And so I agree with what you're saying. And I definitely don't ever want to come off like that to a fan, you know?
If I may, I think there's also been a resurgence now that, you know, the live shows are a thing again. You realize what you missed that whole time. And everybody just seems to be happier together now that it's happening again. So I think there's a real appreciation for the music and the connection with artist and fan. It's a little closer than it used to be now, I think.
Just more willing to actually like shake babies and kiss hands, so to speak.
'Cause you missed it.
Guys, thank you so much for being on Real Rock Nights. I really, really appreciate it. And Joke is the song, and it is right here, right now. Any last words, gentlemen?
Thanks for all your support. Thanks for having us on the show. And we are looking forward to seeing all of you and all of your fans on the road real soon.
Joke, it's right here. What, Greg?
Rock and roll.
Rock and roll. Joke, it's right here, right now on Real Rock Nights.
Thank you, Shep.